committee was struck, I spoke in a harsh way about it. But I told him I'm willing to work with him. But I told him I wasn't going to be playing the games that they played before. And I'll be honest and I'll straight. And so Mark and I sat down and we worked things out. And Mike.
That's okay. We're friends now.
So I've been to these meetings and I've come in and let them know how I feel, and I'm hoping this will work for us. That's it. Thanks.
Right now I'm working on this project with Copper Moon. So we've titled the project, I'm sure you all got the community update, the first one that I sent out. And we've titled the project Woosh Wah Du Ati, which means bringing it or pulling it all together.
As a clan leader, I'm supposed to be taking care of the community and making sure that young people aren't introduced to drugs and alcohol, and to monitor on how that's been done. We've been moved back to the clan system for past 10 years. We've been practicing this government, and communication is one of the very important things that we need, because a lot of it is slowly being manipulated and changed. And everything changes as the world gets older, and it's up to us to make sure it stays on track, that our culture is strong, and we need our younger generation to know that it is wrong to do what they're doing. And it's not to scold them out, it's just to help them grow and gather their tools. And as they get older, they need these tools to get along.
I think one of the biggest challenges is building a healthy community. And what I mean by healthy community is jobs, social health, the health of a clean and sober community, taking care of the environment, and balancing economic development with sustainable development.
Majority of us gone to residential school, and we weren't given those tools. We were always told, you got to do this, you got to do that. And we sit standing there in line and say, yes, yes, when. We weren't given the tools of communication, because we were always told to be quiet. Just told what to do, be quiet. You're a head count. And it's a new tool for the committee to learn and try to break that residential school.
I worked on Tacker River a lot, quite a bit there too, fisheries, whatever. On the Yukon here, and I want to see what it's all about there. It's coming on like this deal here that having here now, that they're going to keep them together. It looks like it's starting to catch on a little bit here for the elders meeting, because we never had anything like this for a long time, see, so that's what all I have to say. Thanks.
I'm very proud to see the children. That's my biggest pride, is seeing the children, like for instance, dancing around down at Mrs. Nyman's, Auntie Mrs. Nyman's old place, dancing and singing Tlingit songs, and singing it loud and singing it better than I sing it, is, my biggest pride. At that time, and I was walking by the band office, and I thought I was having a dream. I could hear drums and I could hear people singing, and I thought, well, what the heck's going on over there? And I'm kind of snoopy, so I went over to check it out, and here everybody was dancing there, and I didn't even know what was happening. They just decided at the spur of the moment that they were going to do that, and I walked in and I got chills all over my body, and I started crying because I'm really emotional. And I started crying, like it was tears of joy. You know, and I always wanted to see that in my community, and I never ever did. And I actually wrote something upon it after that happened because it was so touching. So I've still got a little diary that I won't show you.
In 30, 40, 35 years ago, we didn't have plumbing. You know, we didn't have the kind of plumbing structures that we have now. We didn't have this building. We didn't have the other First Nation building. Our First Nation building was down in a small place just down the road there. Yeah. So very, very small place. So you could see the kind of growth and the progress that we've made, you know, to this point in the last 35 years.
But since I've gone a lot into the traditional ways and the ways of our ancestors. But, you know, like I'm so glad of the government now that is introducing the old ways that we once knew, but have lost in residential school system. But now that we're, I can see a lot of changes right now, you know, from what that's been introduced through the government here. So I'm happy about this. Thank you very much.
Like, make the band office and the government work together better with the people, because like no real unity or anything, you can't really, nothing goes past. You talk one conversation and that's pretty much the end of anything you try and do. So hopefully we'll see stuff start to happen. Hopefully this committee will bring that forward.
And everything. And I want you to understand, I have a great respect for our government and a great respect for my people, and I'll do my best to work as good as I can as a native like myself that didn't go to high school like the white man's school or anything like that, but I learned a lot on the native side. And I really look at it in a good way for the young generation, and I'm having a little hard time now that the young generation are kind of going into the white man system. But we're going to make it as we go along. I know very well we're going to get our power back in strong ways if we all work together in the right way. I'm talking about the Crow clan and the Wolf clan. Work together as a group that will understand one another and work as close as possible with us. We respect that we can make ourselves strong for the young generation, for the young kids.
They used to come in with a whole bunch of furs like that, and then next thing they know, they end up the richest people in town, and then they end up the poorest people in town, not even enough for groceries. Then when they went back to the trap light, they were rich again. When they went back to the land took care of them. That's where they got their respect from, and then they come in, and I could remember being down on the river with my Uncle Harry, and he was living in the community cabin, and I was in my own cabin, and he used to teach my kids and the other kids that was down in the river a whole pile of traditional stuff, and at the time it was like playing. You know, like he'd say, see that moose floating by? It's going to come down. It's going to get off at that point down there. It's going to walk towards that point, so all the kids would go running down and play with the moose. They'd be running down along the bank, and they'd run down to the point that he said that the moose was going to get off at, and the moose would sure enough be there. You know, and there's not very many people on this earth that can say that they spent time playing with the moose on the Taku River. And it's a gift. It's a gift from Mother Nature.
We need our younger elders as well, so they can start getting their tools and learning how to make these judgments and fairly, and don't take it personally. That a nation has to move on, and only in a good way. Thanks.
And so much that we sort of hide away from things that are really painful to us, and we don't want to talk about them and bring them out. But it's a lot to do with our health and who we are as First Nation people, that we want to be able to say things and bring out things that will be more effective. Holding it in probably causes us more pain than anything, our body's pain. The illnesses that come from, overloading ourselves with stress because we think we can hold it all inside. Letting some of these things out in an appropriate way, being able to express them in a non-violent place.
One thing I got from that meeting is it's really important to do what's right today, and it's also important to honor your past, live in the present, and plan for the future of our children. And to me, it's a collective responsibility. I'm individually responsible for my own self, but I'm collectively responsible with the whole community to take care of our children in a good way so that could be passed on.